Welp, they're finally here. The Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus are officially official. Now, Samsung was kind enough to give me a very limited amount of time with these devices before they were released. So I figured I would try at least to do a complete walkthrough for you guys. Now, if you aren't familiar with my complete walkthroughs, they're where I go through as many features as I possibly can on a device to give you as much information as humanly possible so that if you wanted to go buy said device, you are armed with a lot more information than normal. That's the idea. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So they're very similar to the S8 and the S8 Plus, except for a few changes. The bezels are just a hair smaller at the top and bottom, and around back we have a fingerprint scanner in the center, directly under the cameras. Thank God. It is IP68 certified as the S8 was, and supports fast charging as well as fast Qi charging. Back on the front we have our 5.8-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED screen in 18.5:9 aspect ratio on the S9, and the same type of screen but a 6.2-inch on the S9 Plus. Now above that, the sensors have been hidden a bit better with a new paint job, and the front-facing camera is an 8-megapixel f1.7 aperture lens. On the left side we have the volume rocker and the Bigsby button. On the right we have our power button. At the top, our SIM card slot and micro SD card slot combo. At the bottom we have our USB-C charging port, the headphone jack, and one of our 2 stereo speakers that are tuned by AKG and are Dolby Atmos enabled. Moving to the back, we have our dual cameras on the S9 Plus only. The main one being a 12-megapixel wider lens with an adjustable aperture for the first time from f1.5 to f2.4. Now this is the same camera that's on the S9, but the S9 Plus also has a 12-megapixel telephoto lens, similar to how we saw the Note 8 configured, that has a fixed aperture of f2.4. So the camera controls allow you to switch between 1.5 aperture for low light shots and the f2.4 for brighter ones, manually if you're in Pro mode. Or if you just leave it in auto, it'll automatically switch between them based on the lighting conditions and the shot. Now diving into the camera, we have our auto mode, which we're used to, Pro mode, which we're also used to, that allows you to adjust settings manually, panorama mode for taking panoramic shots, and live focus from the Note 8 that allows you to take a shot with a more pronounced blurred background and then adjust that background after the fact. Another feature that they've added, thanks in big part to that Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 that's in here, that I did a video on not too long ago. If you are interested in more about that, you can check it out below, but it's super slow-mo. Now this allows you to record a 720p at 960 frames per second for a split second. It can either be used manually, and you basically just select when you want the slow-mo to happen, or you can select it to auto-detect, and it'll automatically switch to the 960 frames per second whenever it senses movement within the square in the center of the screen. Kinda clever, if we're honest. Now Samsung also told me that it will be able to do 1080p, 240 frames per second slow motion continuously, but that feature actually wasn't on the phones that we were testing, so to be determined. Now in addition to those modes, we also have selfie focus mode, which allows you to take blurred background shots using the front camera, a regular selfie mode, a wide selfie mode that captures more of what's behind you, and a new feature called AR emoji. Now the AR emoji lets you take a photo using the front camera of your face, and it'll try and make an AR emoji based on that, which you can then tweak after the fact to make look more and more like you. Once set up, you can use this emoji in different GIFs that have 14 predetermined poses at the moment, but you can also use it as basically an avatar and send short video clips of it to other people. Samsung also lets you use other characters with this as well, and said through a partnership with Disney that they'll be bringing Disney characters to this sometime in the future. On the software side, the units we had were running Android Oreo with Samsung's proprietary UI on top. Also, Samsung has added a few apps and features as usual. Firstly, Bigsby has gotten some new tricks, like the ability to control SmartThing devices and being integrated those as well, but also some new camera-oriented stuff too. Makeup mode, for example, lets you try on different sets of makeup and looks, and then through their partnerships with Sephora and other makeup companies, be able to buy those products directly through Bigsby. Then we have Translate, which does real-time translations of text, image recognition mode, a mode called Places that helps you identify and find famous landmarks, a QR code reader, a wine bottle scanner powered by the popular Vivino app to scan wine labels and tell you what they cost, tasting notes, and ultimately allows you to buy them as well. The Samsung also mentioned a couple of Bigsby features, like the ability to scan items and then shop for them in their initial partners of Nordstrom's and Sam's Club, and then also a mode that allows you to take photos of food, and that'll actually give you the nutritional data and put it directly into Samsung Health. On the builds that we had, neither of these were actually working at the moment. Of course, they'll be ready by release, but we've seen these features before, and with the Snapdragon 845 in there, I'm sure they're going to be just fine and pretty snappy. For other apps, since this wasn't a full release model, we just have the normal Samsung apps included, from Internet to SmartThings, Voice Recorder, Galaxy Apps, Samsung Health, Samsung Gear, My Files, and their own email client. For security, the device has the fingerprint sensor that I mentioned, but also iris and facial recognition, and an intelligent scanning mode that uses both the iris and the facial recognition at the same time. Basically, it tries to use the iris first since that's more secure, and then it'll quickly default to the face if it needs. Now, as mentioned, the device has the Snapdragon 845 in it and is paired with 4 gigs of RAM in the S9 and 6 gigs of RAM in the S9 Plus. It also supports Qualcomm's Gigabit LTE with peak download speeds of up to 1.2 gigabits per second. Powering the device, we have a 3000 mAh battery in the S9 and a 3500 mAh battery in the S9 Plus. And there you go, guys. The most features I could run through in this complete walkthrough with the limited time that I had. Let me know what you guys think of the S9 and S9 Plus and these types of complete walkthroughs in the comments below. Would love to hear from you guys. If Samsung does send me a review unit, I hope they do, I would love to put it through its paces. I would love to check out the camera, which is the big feature that they keep promoting on all their billboards and everything. And from what I got to see, it's pretty nice, but I want to give it a full test. So hopefully they'll do that, and you can stay tuned for that video. If you like this video, though, please thumbs up it or share it. It's greatly appreciated. Also, check out the rest of my channel. If you like what you see there, please subscribe. Also appreciated. As always, though, regardless, thanks for watching.